It's supposed to be harvest season, but it isn't turning out the way farmers in the northern Philippines had hoped.
I think the reality is
an 11-hour standoff.
The held about 20 people.
Most M16 say they're having to fight each other.
5-year-old former police,
but there will be no other.
Instead of Brazil, Russia, India, and China, invest in Turkey, Indonesia, and what was once known as a sick man of Asia, the Philippines. So says Morgan Stanley Investment Management's global head of emerging markets equities, Ruchir Sharma. He calls them the next breakout nations, countries that can sustain fast growth and meet or beat expectations.
A globally competitive environment for investors. The Philippines is Asia's new business hotspot.
On to the Philippines now. Stocks may rise again after surging yesterday on an improved economic outlook.
Is business booming there?
Absolutely. I think that there is something happening in the Philippines. It has been quite positive for the past few observations. And I think that if you look at the data, there is a good reason to think that this is not just some crazy optimism.
The country may have even benefited from it as outsourcing, particularly in the call center industry, continues to grow.
Welcome to the new call center capital of the world, Manila, Philippines. And consultants say the number of call operators in the country may double in the next 5 years.
But just how strong is this economy? It's outperformed most of its Asian neighbors by posting a better than expected 7.1% GDP growth in the third quarter of 2012. Year to date, 6.5%, making it one of the fastest growing economies in the world.
This may be a rich world's art, but Makuha Elizalde sees it as a poor child's chance out of the slums.
The kind of motivation that these kids have to succeed, you can see in their faces. And that's the kind of students that you like to have in your ballet school.
What it did have? The pride of millions of Filipinos.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
Numbers show the global online chatter may be paying off. Tourism numbers are at record levels this year. A trend that the country hopes will continue not just on social media, but in its natural wonders.
There is one industry that is definitely booming, and that being call centers.
Strong consumer spending has helped shield the Philippine economy from the ongoing crisis in the West.
Once the campaign hit social media, users began playing with the template.
Why do you think that nobody else has as much faith?
Oh, I think that investors do have faith.
Long overshadowed by its neighbors in terms of economic growth and socio-political development, Asia's sleeping tiger is slowly waking up.
Here in the streets of Cotabato, there's guarded optimism that lasting peace is finally attainable with this framework agreement.
The market responded to the news with resounding optimism. The stock index hit an all-time high for the 31st time this year, while the Philippine peso appreciated to a level it hasn't reached for 4 years.
What should investors consider if they are going to look into putting money to Philippine companies?
I think in regards to the Philippines, the key is really fiscal reform. This contributes to a robust consumer cycle, will help both the middle class aspirations as well as areas like property and consumer cross-selling.
The Philippines is certainly going through amazing growth, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But I want to
Indeed, the Philippines has been growing at about 5%.
What is it that you like about the Philippines?
Given to the group of nations deemed by Goldman Sachs as potential bright spots. Among them is the Philippines.
Compare that to Turkey,
the market growing for consumption about 40%.